Boys, I've given you so many tips on LLM SEO or AI SEO or GEO or AEO, however you want to call it, right? In other words, I've given you so many tips on how to rank first on ChatGPT, or in other words, how to be mentioned or cited higher in these LLMs like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Grok. But I'm here to give you another batch of tips. In this case, it's 4 tips. All I have to ask is that you are not one of those people who just watches it and then after this video just goes and watches a MrBeast video. Please watch all the way through and then actually go and implement them. Otherwise, just wasting time. Okay. As cliche as it sounds, what separates you from me, right, is I actually do the work, right? I don't know more than you, right? Maybe I know a bit more. Who knows? But the most important thing is, again, as cliche and cringe as it sounds, is that I actually go out and implement this stuff. Okay. That's the biggest difference. Okay. And so, without out of the way, let me just give you 4 tips, 4 tangible tips that if you apply them today, after you watch the video, you will see a tangible increase in your mentions of your brand in LLMs like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Grok, Claude, all these ones. Okay. Now, very first tip, one that I've talked about before, is creating PR. Now, I've recorded a 15-minute long video on this, on how to build how to create press releases, how to show up basically on these big authoritative news sites like Bazinga, Barchart, Globe and Mail, Huffington Post, all these big news publications. Now, again, you can go watch this. I teach you literally step by step how to do it. I don't hide a single thing. I show you even how much it costs, right? I don't have a thing to sell you. You can just buy these. It takes you 15 minutes to understand how to do it. Then you can just buy it from someone. Okay, the money doesn't go to me, by the way. You're paying someone else. So, reason why this is important, again, you can watch the video after this is over. I'll leave it down in the description. Is because these LLMs, and I'm sure you know, right? When you're interacting with ChatGPT and all those, right? A lot of the times they cite citations, dimensions, right? When you prompt it with something, I like to do this analogy. It's a funnel. You give it a prompt, it gives you an answer, right? You give it a prompt, it gives you an answer based off of your prompt, and until you've refined the prompt so much that the answer is satisfactory enough for you, and you just have your answer, and you just close ChatGPT. This is how these LLMs work. Okay. Now, in the answers, well, where does it pull the content from? Well, it pulls the content from websites like yours, for example. That's why it's very important to produce content on your site, right? We've talked about this before in the past. Sites like LinkedIn, right? Reddit, Twitter, it's now called X, right? Video sites like YouTube, okay? Review sites like G2 or Trustpilot or even competitor sites, but also then PR. Basically, news publications, CNN, NSBC, Fox News, Huffington Post, Forbes. Why? Because there's a high correlation between how well you do in your SEO, search engine optimization, how well you rank on Google and Bing. There's a high correlation between that and your, let's call it GEO. I hate these terms, but GEO, generative engine optimization, however you want to call it. There's a high correlation. So if you suck at SEO, if you don't rank high on Google and Bing, well, don't expect to have a lot of brand mentions on these LLMs. That's just how it works. Now, one of the ways, and the reason why I mention this is because one of the ways in which you rank on Google and Bing is through tackling the 3 pillars of SEO: on page, off page, okay, and technical SEO. On page is everything that happens on your site. Technical SEO is the boring stuff: schema markup, meta tags, description, site speed, boring stuff. I talked about this a lot of times. You can go watch my other videos. I'll link them down below. And off page, backlinks. Link building is very important, and by creating press releases, by having a link from Fox News pointing to your site, right, to your site, or from CNN, or from NSBC, I don't know, some of these authoritative publications, right, linking to you. Well, if Google thinks, and I mean, however you like want to put it, if you like these news outlets or not, these are high authoritative sites in Google's eyes, news publications, right? They have high domain rating, right? They have a lot of real traffic, so they're domains people actually go to every single day to read the news. So they're high authoritative domains, and you'll notice that a lot of these, they make content about anything and everything, and they rank higher, right? So there was this big drama a while back where Forbes, we can just use Forbes, where they made these like listicles on the best air fryers to cook at home, and they ranked above like blogs that were dedicated to that, and even brands, because they have such a high authority in Google's eyes. They can just write about anything that they rank first. Point being is that these are authoritative publications in Google's eyes. So if they link to you, well, Google thinks he's high authority. If they link to you, well, they will see you as high authority as well. That's basically the whole gist of how link building works, about how backlinks work. And PR press releases are a specific type of backlink, which again, I teach you how to build here. There's a bunch of other types of backlinks. There's the ones that I like to build, which are niche edits and guest posts, which by the way, you can buy them if you could just go to arvo.com, sign up and click purchase backlinks. You'll see right here, like this, there's a bunch of case studies on how the results people had building these backlinks. You can go watch them right here. You can pay me to do it for you. I can build these backlinks for you. This is different from PR. These are niche edits and guest posts from the R40 domains, 1,000 plus mentioned organic traffic. Or you can just, if you don't want me to do it for you, you can just go here to Vasco's SEO tips, search up for backlinks, and just watch this right here and this right here. And these videos, I think this is 1 hour long, will teach you exactly how I build these backlinks. If you have time, go learn and have more time to actually implement them, go do it. If not, you just want to pay me, I'll do it for you. Again, these are the exact same backlinks that I built right here. I just like to teach you how to do it first in case you want to do it yourself. Point being that, speaking about backlinks, PR press releases are a type of backlinks, right? They build trust, they build authority. When they link back to you, Google will see you as an authority as well. And because again, your rankings on Google are heavily tied with GEO, building backlinks, building PR will increase your Google rankings, which in turn will increase the number of citations you have on GEO. Now as well, right, these are intertwined, but just PR alone, right, will also, right, even if it doesn't rank you on Google, right, you'll create citations all across these authoritative publications, which if and when, depending on your prompt, right, the AI is searching and finding your brand name on these high authority publications, you're more likely to be mentioned or cited. Hopefully that made sense, because honestly, what all these AI agents are doing when you search for something on Google, right, on GPT, what it's doing, like it's disconstructing your prompt and getting a bunch of keywords off your prompt and searching it on Bing and Google and then looking at the results. That's more or less what it's doing, okay? Because you'll notice that there's a high, like if you search for the keyword, if you take your prompt and you try to disconstruct it into keywords and search for those keywords on Bing and Google, you'll see that the top 10 search results are most likely the same citations it cites when you just prompt it here. Hopefully that makes sense. So create PR, go watch this. I'll leave it as a link in the description, okay? PR, it's very important you do this right here. Again, I don't get this money. I literally give you a service where you can just buy these right here, okay? It's I think $60 a pop. There you go. PR, very, very important. Press releases, hopefully. I could just skim through these and just tell you do this, this, and that, but I think it's very important that I explain to you the reasoning why it's very important to do this, okay? Number 2, create comparison pages. Now, this is a bit more geared towards software companies or also service companies, okay? But and I talked about this extensively before, okay? And I'll even play, I'll play a clip right here of what I mean by this, and hopefully based off of this clip, you can extract how you can do it for a software company, for a service business like a local business, or an agency or an e-commerce store. E-commerce, this works as well, so I'm just gonna play a clip right here of what this means. Comparison pages are basically pages that rank for keywords like, let's say for example, Slack versus, or let's say Google Meets versus Slack, okay? Boom. And then so your SaaS versus competitor. It's basically it, right? And you build out all of these pages, right? And also, by the way, competitor 1 versus competitor 2. So what you do is you build all these pages, right, with in-depth comparison between tool 1 and tool 2, right? Again, a page, okay? You can even do like an asset right here, tool 1, okay, versus tool 2. I don't know, make it look good, because that's another thing, right? UI and UX is super important, right? When you're building a brand, right, you gotta make things look slick, look pretty, because the perceived value goes a long way. If people go to your site and it looks like shit, well, the perceived value is gonna drop down and most likely people won't buy from you. So the best example of this is Apple, right? Apple just looks premium, right? And they are able to charge 10x the amount of Samsungs and Androids, not because their phones aren't necessarily better, but because of the perceived value of their brand. And this, again, a bit of a tangent, meaning that you can have an inferior product in terms of features and support and whatever, but you can price it higher. You can make more money just by having a higher perceived value. That's key. I could record a video solely on that, but then again, I don't have time for that right now. For now, it's about SEO. So yeah, add like you're making these comparison pages, so make it like an image, a funny image, and then maybe talk about what competitor 1 is, right? What they do, how they work, their pricing, their features. Then same thing for competitor 2, what they do, how they work, their pricing, their features. Then a table comparing the features from 1 and 2, all the features, comparison of all the features. Again, interactive things, not just a boring big wall of text. Actually show them like in a best way you can how these compare. And then again, a wall text talking about features between both, pricing comparison between both. We'll make the actual comparison then down below. So again, talk about competitor 1, talk about competitor 2, and then a comparison between both, right? And then of course down here, hey, listen, these two are good for XYZ, but our tool is better for this. Give it a go, free trial. So what you're doing is you're leveraging these competitors 1 and 2 brands, their brand names, because this blog post, because it talks so much in depth about competitor 1 and competitor 2, about their pricing, what they do, how they work, their features, right? Eventually, this is going to rank for their own brand names. Eventually, this is going to rank for pricing competitor 1. Competitor 1 pricing. So yes, of course, if you write Slack pricing, right, of course, Slack's going to be number 1. But you'll see number 2, 3, and 4 will be Slack competitors, right, writing blogs and pages about Slack pricing with the little call to action saying, hey, listen, yeah, you can pay Stripe XYZ or Slack XYZ, but you can pay us the less for all these features. So again, what you're doing with these comparison pages is you're leveraging other people's brands. So what you do is, again, you build out comparison pages comparing every single one of your competitors together. So A versus B, A versus C. So compare, make a list of all your competitors and then create pages comparing them all together. But actually properly done, okay? And you'll notice that, again, these pages not only will rank for, you're essentially stealing your competitors' brand names and questions people ask about competitors, but the search volume for these keywords will be quite low. So you'll easily rank on the first page. And you can throw some backlinks at it if you want. If you want to buy some backlinks, just go to tryjournalist.com. Click on your dashboard, and then just go down here to purchase backlinks. These are mega powerful. We have a bunch of case studies on them. I won't show them to you right now, but if you go here, purchase backlinks, there's even a video of me explaining here how it works and a bunch of case studies. But yeah, again, you can purchase backlinks for the extra boost. And quick tangent here, by the way, just that SEO isn't just about building content, right? There's 3 main pillars to SEO. There's on-page SEO, there's off-page SEO, okay? And there's technical SEO. On-page SEO is essentially everything that happens on the site. So what you write, how you write it, the images you add, the keywords you sprinkle in, all the stuff that happens on the site. Off-page SEO is essentially link building. The backlinks you build, how many you build, the anchor text, the velocity, all that stuff. And technical SEO is like the boring stuff. Site speed, schema markup, meta tags, meta descriptions, UI, UX, all this boring stuff. Again, I'll leave a course down below in the description that talks about all this stuff, so don't worry about it right now. Moving back to this again. That's the very first type of page you want to create. And these will do wonders for you. Again, they will rank quite easily for high buying intent keywords, right? Because someone's searching for Google Meets versus Slack. Well, they know what Google Meets is, they know what Slack is, and they know the pain point they're in. So they're actively in the market for finding a solution, right? So they're looking for what's the better solution. So they're actively looking to buy something, okay? So that's the best type of people you can target. The intent behind someone searching for this, the intent behind the search has a buying intent that's through the roof, right? So that's why you want to target these keywords. And again, leveraging your competitors' brand names. Hopefully this is making sense, right? This is just a mega strategy. Then, there you go, comparison pages. This is why they're valuable. Hopefully that clip made sense. Again, please go out and implement this today. If not, it's just a waste of time. Number 3, better content than the competition. It's about reverse engineering. What do I mean by this? This is a classic SEO play. I go on Google, and again, I know this is about LLMs, but it's all going to tie in, it makes sense. I go on Google and I search for something, right? Whatever, the keyword I want to rank for. And I look at the first site, I look at the second site, I look at all these guys, right? And I see, okay, I open this up right here and I see, okay, this is an article ranking, this is maybe a YouTube video, this is another article, right? I open this up right here and I look at these 2 articles, right? And I see, okay, what are these guys talking about, right? I want to rank for this keyword. And I see Google is pushing 2 articles that talk about all of these subjects. So if I want to rank for the same keyword, well, I have to produce a piece of content. In this case, again, I'm producing an article because I see that for this keyword, Google is valuing articles, right? There's a YouTube video right here, but most of the SERPs, most of the search engine ranking pages are articles. So I know that for this keyword, Google is valuing articles, a consumption type of content, that's an article, okay? If I were to write something and the results will be just YouTube videos, well, I know that I'm going to have to produce a YouTube video because for this keyword, Google is valuing YouTube videos. And this applies to anything, okay? So again, I look at what these guys have on their page and I try to produce better content than them. And a great example of this is Wise and PayPal. Let me show you what I mean. If I go to wise.com, here in Ahrefs, and go to their top pages, I see, actually let me just go to organic keywords, right? Just go here, add filter, just make it a bit easier keyword. Let me just do PayPal, right? Again, these are competitors. Wise is a bank. TransferWise was their old name, right? And they're a competitor of PayPal. You see that they have this keyword right here called PayPal calculator, fee calculator. It has 40,000 searches every single month, right? And these guys capture 7,000 of this traffic. They rank in a position 4, more or less. They go up and down, right? And what this is, and the reason why these, by the way, ranks above PayPal itself, right? Let me just open this up right here, PayPal fee calculator. The reason why this right here, right? Who's ranking first for this keyword? It's Wise, then these guys, and these guys, and these guys. I don't even think, PayPal down here. Why? Because PayPal content is so bad compared to this right here. Awful. What the hell is this? Too long. It's a ton of information, right? With what Wise, a competitor, did right here. Hey, here's the fee. It's a calculator. Select your country, select where you're based in, and you'll see exactly how much money you send and what the fee is. That's it, right? And they produce better content about PayPal than PayPal themselves. So that's why they rank above PayPal. Okay, and so again, tying this what I just said before, if I go and if I want to rank for this keyword, PayPal calculator fee, well, I'd look at who's ranking first, right? And it's these guys, not this. So I would not produce a content like this. I'll produce something like this, right? And all this is, by the way, this is a huge call to action to Wise. They say, hey, listen, here's how much it costs, but if you use our business, it's 5 times cheaper. Go here and use it. Okay, so you're hijacking another brand's content, but not just to give them praise and not just say, hey, listen, yeah, this is their brand, this is amazing, here's a bunch of content about them. No, here's a bunch of content about them, but here's why we're better, right? And this applies to any single niche, product, service, anything, okay? So produce content that's better than what they're producing about their own brand. And take into account that if the keyword you want to rank for is a search where Google has a bunch of news, well, you have to produce a news topic. If it's a bunch of videos, produce a bunch of videos. If it's a bunch of Reddit, well, then you have to get on Reddit. If it's a bunch of articles, then you produce a bunch of articles. If it's a bunch of calculators, then you have to produce a bunch of calculators. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully this is making sense. Okay, it's one of the smartest tips. And how does this tie in with GEO? Because again, there's a high correlation between SEO and GEO. And I guarantee, I'll even do this live. I go here into ChatGPT, right? And I'm just going to search up, let's just do, what are PayPal's fees for sending money? Let's see here. Most likely it's going to cite PayPal or mention PayPal, right? Search the web, PayPal. I don't know what this is. So again, you can clearly see where it's getting the info from. Give me a calculator or any calculator where I can check this. Stop searching. What was that? Not sure why it stopped searching. I didn't even type in enter. Maybe it's my Wi-Fi. Let's see. Give me a couple of seconds here. All right, there we go. It's cited PayPal plus 3 more. Tipali Wise. There we go. So Wise is being cited. Why? Because they're producing great content about this brand. I didn't even need to do this right here, right? Wise is being cited. Does it talk about Wise right here? No, it doesn't. But regardless, they're only mentioning PayPal, right? But the citations are coming from a competitor. And by the way, this happens with our own business, with Arvo, right? We produce content about our competitors. So when someone's looking and searching on GPT about our competitors, oftentimes we show up because we talk about the competition better than they talk about themselves, right? And of course, the content we produce is just like Wise. It's at the end of the day, it's a big call to action to saying, hey, yeah, this is what they do, but here's how we do it better. Okay, so it's pretty cool. You see right here, again, the citations are from a bunch of competitors, including one of them, which is Wise right here. This only happens because they produce content that talks about the competitors' brands. I've been hammering this number for a long time. Hopefully this made sense. And the only way in which you can do this is to reverse engineer what type of content is ranking, video, audio, written, if written in news, blog post, article, whatever, and then going out there, seeing what they're doing and creating something better. Okay, that's basically it. And now moving on to the last tip, which is syndicate. Syndicate. Very big one. And you see this all across the board if you use Twitter's AI, which is Grok, right? A lot of the times, and because of course they're biased, they cite a lot of tweets. I use Grok a lot because I like when these LLMs cite Twitter. I like when they cite Reddit. I like when they cite YouTube because most of these platforms, right, or LinkedIn, it's hard to put bots on, right? For example, Reddit, right? It's a bunch of, surely there's bots anywhere and everywhere, right? But on Reddit, it's mostly people talking. On Twitter, right, one of the ways they're doing to combat bots is that you have to pay to have an account. And most of the times, when you use Grok, the Twitter's AI, the citations come from verified accounts, meaning accounts who are paying to use Twitter, paying to use social media. And oftentimes, more often than not, bots don't pay for social media. They don't pay for accounts because it's expensive, okay? There's no ROI. So I can know almost for certain that the citations that are being cited on Twitter are from humans. And I like to hear other humans' experience. That's why a lot of people use Reddit, right? Because there's a human conversation, a human thread, right? When you're looking for product recommendations. Or that's why you go on YouTube to see a guy reviewing your lawnmower, because you know it's a guy actually trying out and reviewing the lawnmower, okay? So by syndicating, you increase your chances of being mentioned. When you go into these LLMs, right, you prompted something, the answer it gives you, right, it goes, again, as I said before, it goes to your site, Twitter, LinkedIn, Reddit, YouTube, it goes everywhere. So how do you increase the likelihood of being cited? Well, it's if you are everywhere. And so if you, for example, produce a blog post or an article on your site that's ranking on Google, right, syndicate it to LinkedIn, syndicate it to Twitter, because you never know, right, if when someone is searching for a potential prompt that could potentially have your article show up, that the tweet doesn't show up instead, or that the video doesn't show up instead. And this goes the other around as well, right? For example, we have this feature right here that allows you to convert YouTube videos into blog posts. And we have this guy that I keep showing this guy, but it's insane. What he did was he was a French guy. He owned a marketing agency. It's this right here. He took, and you can watch the case study if you want. He took a bunch of videos. They were in English, right? In English, okay? He converted all of them into blog posts. So he converted the medium of consumption from video to reading, written form. Not only that, but he converted them from English to French. So he converted the language and the medium of consumption, and he got to 5K a month, almost 6K just after doing that. It's insane. And also because, I mean, this is a video in and of itself, it's targeting non-English speaking niches. There's a lot of people out there who don't speak English. Go for Portuguese, Spanish, Greek, Japanese, Mandarin, Spanish, Italian. There's a lot of a market that can be captured out there for non-English speaking customers. Even if you're in the US, right? There's a lot of people in the US that speak Spanish. So if you have a US-based business, you can still produce content in Spanish and get some US buyers, but that got onto your site speaking Spanish. So just imagine you produce a bunch of content. You just literally use this feature right here and convert a bunch of videos that you don't own. You don't have to record the videos, right? You look for videos. The tool automatically looks for videos who were recorded by someone else, whether that's in English, Portuguese, Spanish. You take them, and convert them into written format into any language you want. And of course, it gives credits to the video. And so you can produce a bunch of content on your site. You can have sections called blogs, right, where you have a bunch of blog posts that were originally YouTube videos, for example, right, in any language. And these can rank on Google. These can be picked up by LLMs. The possibilities are endless. Even this right here, the AI news article, this generates news-based articles. Here's a pretty cool one. Let me just show you real quick here. It doesn't mean like in any language. I think this is Mandarin, right? I don't understand what this is, but this can rank on Google, right? This is one in Portuguese. This is in English. This is one about Elon Musk or Tesla awards with BYD. And this is a news article. That's why in news articles, it cites the sources, okay? Yahoo Finance, Reuters, ChatGPT News, MarketWatch, etc. So you can have a dedicated section on your site for news, right? And in any language, or YouTube videos to blog, or YouTube videos that you convert into blog posts. So syndication goes all the way around. And by the way, this is right here. We have another case study of this where this guy took a site, from 0 to 10K right here in 24 hours, literally 24 hours, just using that feature, writing news articles. And then I did an update on that. If I go here to Vasco SEO tips and just type in, just go here and say, this. Then he took the site from 0 to 10K, then 12 hours later to 30K. I recorded this video like 2 days apart. So the guy did it using this right here, writing news articles right here. There you go. So it's all about producing different types of content and syndicating, because all these LLMs, they go out and cite different sources. So you have to be everywhere you can. And sure, you can do all these manually, or you can use it to like Arvo to help you do it for you, which does it way faster. These are the 4 tips. Now, before I show you one last thing, I want you to do me a huge favor and comment the words LLM SEO. If you can do that, that'll be amazing, because this will help YouTube push this video out to more people. So if you can do that favor, that'll be amazing. If not, no worries. And last thing I want to show you is, if you want more AI SEO tips, more SEO training, plus access to Arvo, this software for free, okay? You go to the first link in the description, which is arvo.com/academy, right? And you get access to all my SEO courses for life, which are regularly updated with new strategies, a private community with weekly live calls with myself. We just hop on live every single week and just chat about SEO, AEO, any new AI SEO things I find in the industry, anything that I'm applying to my own business. We just chat about it live. I can do audits to your site. I can give you tips on what to do, what not to do, all this stuff. Again, you get access to Arvo, my tool, for free, included for a free month. You get a one-on-one SEO consulting call with myself. So we just hop on before you onboard for 30 minutes, and I just dive into your business and I discuss, okay, how can I help you do something better, rank higher, and I'll just basically diagnose your business as if I were in your shoes, if I were the founder, if I were the owner, what I would do, okay, with my experience. And this is new, a DR40 backlink, which I charge, just alone for this, I charge $150, and you can check if you go here to the dashboard. You go here to backlinks down here, purchase backlinks. You can see that the price I charge for this is, go to checkout, is $450 for 3 links, which comes out to be $150 per link. So if you want access to all this stuff included, just go to arvo.com/academy. You get access to all this stuff. There's a bunch of testimonials right here you can read, and you can see everything that's included right here. If you just scroll down, all the results and all the courses and all the stuff that's included. Go to arvo.com/academy. You also get access to my plugin and a bunch more cool stuff. It's going to be the very first link in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and before you go, comment the words LLM SEO and click here to watch this video. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.